Hello, this is Elijah Peters. This is week 2 of the parking lot assignment or project. This is the Java programming class. All right, let's get started. All right, first we'll go into our main. This is the car class. For this week, me and my partner focused on what things would be hard to get, specifically parking the vehicle in each spot. So we create a rough estimate of just basically a demo of 30 spots and a program that would go with the spots, and we could always add on later, we were thinking. So anyways, getting into it. First, we imported the local time class, and then we imported the date time formatter, imported the array list, then the list interface, and the random class so we could have random generated cars, license plates, and occupied status too, randomly generated through the spots. So anyways, getting into the variables, we have the spot number variable, the string for the vehicle type, the boolean for if it's occupied or not, the license plate and that's as a string, and the local time, the park time, and the vehicle object as the parked vehicle, which is in the other class. First, we created a array list for all the vehicle type, occupied status, license plate, and park time. So we made a method to initialize the spot number to its value, and we initialize the vehicle type to null, initialize if it's occupied to false, the license plate to null, the park time to null, the parked vehicle to null, and then all of this was added to that array list as parking spots. And then we had a few getter methods just to get the basic stuff that we would need for the parking lot. So we got the method to get the spot number, the method to get the vehicle type string, and to get the occupied status, to get the local time, which the park time of the car, and then we got the parked time, and then we set the park time to null and had it return as null for if it was false. And then we set the formatter of the time for when the car was parked to hours, minutes, and seconds, which I feel like we're going to change that later. That was just set as that for my partner for now, but I'll probably change that because that's not how people read times, like military time, or not the basic time. And then we got the parked vehicle. We got the vehicle, so just returning the vehicle type, style, year, just returning the parked vehicle. And then a few setter methods. So a setter method for if the spot was occupied, initializing the spot to its whatever value it is, if it's occupied or it's empty. And then we set the park time to the local time now, so whatever time it is, hours, minutes, seconds at the moment, and set the nanoseconds to 0 to be more concise. Then we got the license plate as a method, and we set the license plate, another setter method for the license plate, and initialized it to its value and that variable. That variable. Then we had a method for getting the actual cars in the parking spot. So we had if the spot is occupied, if it's occupied, if it's true, it will get the license plate, the local time, the parked vehicles, the vehicle type. That's literally this next line. Get the vehicle type, so get its model, year, type, and brand, and it will print out the vehicle, which it could be a Camry, Toyota Camry, whatever model or whatever style it is, and 2013 or something, with a license plate with just the string text of a with license plate plus the value of the license plate, which will be randomly generated, and parked at the formatted time that we got up there in hours, minutes, and seconds. And then it will return true just to say that it's parked. And then if not, it will print out that the spot is already occupied. So the spot plus the spot number is already occupied. And then it will return false, saying that it is empty or already occupied. And then this is for the vacation, or the vacated state of a spot. Vacation. Oh boy. And so it'll say if this is occupied, the system will print out the vehicle with that license plate has vacated the spot, and then the spot number. So vehicle plus parked vehicle with license plate, with the license plate, and then plus the spot number will print out the system. So this line is, if it's occupied, it'll equal false. Obviously, if it's occupied, it's not there. And then the license plate will equal null. Nothing's there again. And then everything else is because it's not there. So the park time would be null, which I'll try to change that somehow in the future. But like I said, this is kind of a demo, just like a groundwork to work our way up to getting the parking spot kind of pretty. Like formatting a presentation, kind of. So the park time equals null, and the parked vehicle would equal null, and the vehicle type would equal null because there is nothing there. And it will return true to say that there is no spot there, or there is no car there, or nothing is there. And or else it will print out the spot is already empty. So it's checking the system if that spot is empty. And if it was already empty before, it'll say the spot is already empty, and it will print out saying the vehicle is not there, which obviously it would print out null, but I would like in the future for it to print out that it's just empty instead. This is just overriding the toString method and representing it as a string. So it's setting the toString method and returning out the spot number, the vehicle type, the occupied status, the license plate, the parked vehicle, and the park time too. And it will format that as a string out to the console. Finally, getting into the main, we created an array, just a basic like 30 car list, because when it's printed out to the console, it's a lot, or at least a lot for now, before we actually shrink it down somehow in the future. But so it's just creating a for loop to go through the parking spots and create those 30, or not go through those parking spots, but create those 30 cars. Well, yes, yeah, create the 30 spots and assign the cars to it in a spot array. And then this is just an array of the makes, an array of the models, and an array of the types. So just some basic things like Toyota, Ford, Honda, BMW, Mercedes. The models would be Camry, F-150, Civic, X5, C-Class. The types would be the car, truck, car again, and SUV and sedan. And then we created a random generated object, so just to randomly generate our characteristics of those cars and and the status of the spots, all of those other variables. So then we just made a for loop to basically randomly generate the make, model, and year and type of car, plus also the status. So it would go through each 1 through 30 randomly, 1 through 30 of the array of cars randomly, or the spots, and it would take first the random boolean, which would be if it was occupied or not, and then it would get the random number of the of like 1 through 30 of the random spot, the random make, the random model, and the random type. Also the random year from 2000 to 2024. And then it would create a license plate which would always have ABC to start, and randomly generate something through 100 to 900. And when it says make index, it's just sticking to its index, so everything is same model and make. So I don't have anything being like a Ford Camry or a Toyota F-150. It would keep its index all throughout each array. So it would be Toyota Camry, and it would stick with the car, and the year. I mean, the year is random because it could be any year. And then it creates a vehicle object, and this just parks the vehicle and has its license plate, and is just creating an object for the parked vehicle, pretty much. And then finally, getting to the end, it would print out the status of all spots, and it would have a for loop for the spots and print out the status of all spots from that array up above that we just went over. And then it would have another header below saying all parking spots, and it would have all the parking spots printed out with its cars and spots filled up. Finally, this is just the vehicle object. So it's just the string make, the variable for the make, model, type, and year. And it was just initializing the make, model, year, or type and year. And then it would return out to get the type, the method. And it would get the make, model, and year. Yeah, this is just setting up the other class. So everything prints out. And this was what it would look like for now. Obviously, it's a very kind of clustered right now, but that's to be expected with something starting from the groundwork up. It's going to look much more prettier after and later. But this is just kind of the base framework of it. So just the cars, the random cars that would be parked in spots. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 out of 30 spots that were parked. And then the status of all 30 spots, which only 12 of them should be actually filled, while the others return out null because they're empty. And you can see that these spots that were filled have every characteristic that it should, having the vehicle type, occupied status, license plate, parked vehicle, the park time, and then all the parking spots in total. So yeah, thank you. And that's our startup for it. Bye-bye.